Which author has influenced both Stephen King and Metallica? I am talking about Lovecraft and his influence on comic books. H.P. Lovecraft worked as a pulp author in the 1920s and 1930s, and the pulps were called that way because of the cheaply produced paper on which these stories were printed. In that same era, comic books emerged also as a pulp genre. As time passed, Lovecraft gained literary acclaim, and in that same time, comic books moved from cheap books to a serious literary genre. Nowadays we see that Lovecraft's stories are no longer turned into cheaply produced comic books, but into serious, high production value graphic novels. The most intelligent and innovative take on Lovecraft's stories is done by comic book veteran Alan Moore, who has previously written Watchmen, V for Vendetta and the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. In this video I will explain the 3 hallmarks of Lovecraft's horror literature, and I will explain just why Alan Moore's take on Lovecraft is so intelligent, so deep and so powerful. The core concepts of Lovecraft's stories are cosmic horror, the Cthulhu Mythos and the issue of style. The concept of cosmic horror is best explained by comparing Dracula with Cthulhu. In Dracula, the horror lies at the beginning of the story, not at the end. In the beginning, we are introduced to a mysterious monster that sucks blood and kills people, and through the story we get to find out that we can beat this monster with garlic and crucifixes. Not so with Cthulhu. In the Cthulhu story, the horror lies in the end of the story and not in the beginning. Throughout the story, the reader gets to know that Cthulhu was a godlike monster that one time roamed the earth and who will do so again, enslaving humanity in the process. We have no say in the matter. The only choice that we are left with is either acceptance or descent into madness. Lovecraft does not believe that technological innovation and scientific progress will one day bring about a better life. No. He believes that human curiosity and ingenuity will one day bring about its opposite, a collective descent into madness. For what will our ingenuity one day reveal? That the universe does not care for us. Meteors can come and crush the earth, and if an alien would ever to land on this planet, it would regard humans as no more than mosquitoes. A bit annoying perhaps, but easily exterminated. This is something that humans cannot accept. It will drive them insane. That is the core of Lovecraft's storytelling, and that is what was so innovative about his work. Secondly, there's the Cthulhu Mythos. Lovecraft has created a web of loosely connected stories that introduce to us godlike monster creatures such as Shoggoth, Dagon and Cthulhu. And as the reader reads these stories, we get the sensation that we only are scratching the surface of the world that Lovecraft was building. The form reflects the content because it reflects this idea of cosmic horror that we can never truly grasp what is actually going on. Finally, there is the issue of style. Lovecraft uses a kind of English that was already out-fashioned when he was writing it. It uses terminology, long sentences, out-of-date phrases, all of it together to create a sense of solemnity, but also to create a bit of distance between the reader and the author. What is so ironic is that Lovecraft used a very visual and descriptive language and even made drawings of how creatures like Cthulhu would look like, but all the editions of his work are printed in only text. Here we really need comic books to bring Lovecraft's world back to life. Over time, comic book makers have done loving takes on Lovecraft's works. They have made illustrated versions, made comic book versions of the stories, have even made graphic biographies. But among these works, Alan Moore's His Providence stands out because it's such an intelligent take on the Lovecraft mythos. What is so special about this work? Well, first of all, Alan Moore works towards a synthesis of Lovecraft's works by situating all the stories in one fictional universe. This way, he creates one Lovecraftian world and builds on that to tell a new story. The story itself is already great, but becomes even better the more you know about Lovecraft's work. Alan Moore acknowledges and plays with Lovecraft's politics. There is quite a bit of racism and male chauvinism in Lovecraft's stories, and sometimes they are even integral to the plots. Alan Moore plays with this by choosing as his protagonist Robert Black, a closeted Jewish journalist who slowly goes insane as he investigates the world that Lovecraft is describing. But the most amazing thing is in the title, Providence. For what is written on Lovecraft's tombstone? I am Providence. This was of course a fantastic joke and an ode to the place where Lovecraft lived and wrote his stories, but it was also a literary statement. What if Lovecraft's stories are not stories, but prophecies? This is the idea that Alan Moore takes to heart. Robert Black goes out to investigate the world that Lovecraft is describing. But through the investigations, through the reading of Lovecraft, he actually brings about the cosmic horror. That is a truly amazing take on Lovecraft's work, and that is what makes Alan Moore's work stand out. Lovecraft fans live in a golden era of multimedia. There are films out there, such as The Colors Out of Space, as well as TV series such as Lovecraft Country. And there are amazing comic books that retell Lovecraft's stories. Amongst the latter, Alan Moore's work stands out because it breathes Lovecraft. In short, the doctor can go home, cosmic horror is alive and kicking. Thank you for watching this episode of Classics into Graphics. If you like this episode, click subscribe and ring the bell, and I'll see you next time.